On what planet do the Browns have a better chance to win the Super Bowl than the Bengals?
What is up, Bengals fans? Your boy Mike coming back at you with another Who Daily. Not a lot of news going on today, but I'll take you through some, some interesting stuff I've been seeing online. Take you through a little bit of speculation about how the Bengals are going to finish up this offseason and a little bit of draft talk. But first, you saw it in the intro, man. National respect feels weird for Bengals fans, right? Like here you got Rich Eisen talking about the Vegas odds of the Super Bowl, and the Bengals have worse odds than the Browns. Here's what he says:
On what planet do the Browns have a better chance to win the Super Bowl than the Bengals? Planet Las Vegas, Nevada? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is just
Why does that surprise you?
Because the Bengals just made the Super Bowl.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. They've got a quarterback who's played football in the last year. Mm-hmm. He's got a quarterback who's played football in the last year with the same team that had one major glaring problem that, despite all that, made the Super Bowl and had an opportunity to maybe win it.
Thank you!
In Los Angeles, home of the Rams. And they not only filled that glaring hole in free agency, they crushed filling it, and there's still a draft to come, and they've been terrific at drafting. While the other team has Amari Cooper and who the hell else? And they franchise tagged David Njoku. They've got an all-world defensive lineman and pass rusher, and a defense that was questionable half the time last year. Everybody blames it on Baker. What the hell? Honestly, like, it's just because it's the Bengals? Well, all of a sudden, Deshaun Watson comes and the Browns are no longer the Browns?
Denver has better odds than Cincinnati. Does that get you equally as upset?
Of course it does.
Okay.
I put the Bengals in my top 5 teams to win the Super Bowl next year because I respect what they just did. I respect.
Just want to show you guys that in case you hadn't seen it yet. It is very strange. We're used to guys like Rich Eisen, Colin Cowherd, these national talking sports people, basically not giving us any credit. That's why the city embraced Kay Adams the way they did, is because Kay Adams was really one of the first ones on the scene to be like, hey, you guys got to pay attention to this Bengals team. They're for real. They're really going to come out and do things. And we were all there. We all knew it. We saw it. Kay saw it too. And the thing is, once you draft the guy, you've got a window, man. And the Bengals are capitalizing. They're taking advantage of this window to the best of their ability. We've already been through all of the free agent signings and stuff, but just wanted to take you through a little cap math real quick. I know, super exciting stuff. But what the numbers for the La'el Collins contract came out, and what's really interesting is everybody talks about how the Bengals structure their contracts, but what this makes it look like is that the Collins contract is heavily incentivized to playing games, right? And the reason that there was the reason the market was indecisive or maybe not as hot for La'el Collins as it would have been otherwise is because he's missed some games, right? When he's on the field, he's really good. There's no questioning that. Everybody knows how good of a right tackle he is. But the whole reason he lost his job in Dallas is because he couldn't stay on the field, and Terrence Steele stepped in, undrafted free agent. Terrence Steele stepped in, took his spot. That stuff happens in the NFL all the time. That's why the best ability is availability in the NFL and in all of sports. If you're not on the field playing, we just saw this with Trey Waynes. We don't care how good you were or can be. You need to be on the field contributing. Best thing about La'el Collins' contract, if he's not on the field contributing, he doesn't get paid. So a lot of his bonuses are tied up in per game bonus, so the game day paycheck that you get, right? So he's going to be heavily incentivized to stay on the field, power through minor injuries and stuff. But I'm sure they'll still be careful with him, just like they are with the rest of all their players. But when you take a look at the total cap number, basically what you see. I don't know if you guys follow John Sheeran. John Sheeran, he was on the show last off season. He's really good Bengals follow. You should check him out. But he had this to say about the Bengals cap space.
So you might be confused about that contract and how it came to be. Well, remember Saturday night when Willie Anderson said There were some issues with the structure of the deal. Talking to multiple people about it, like the whole issue was the language of the contract, had nothing to do with total guarantees or length or total money or anything. Basically, the guy played in 10 games in 2 years, whether it be surgery, injury, or suspension. He missed a lot of time. Everybody on this website wanted Trey Waynes to be cut because he played in like 5 games, 200 snaps, and made $31 million. The Bengals ate that L and took the cap savings. Obviously, no team wants to go through that again. So if you're interested in signing a player that's missed a lot of time recently, and you have reason to believe that he could miss more time in the near future, you want to kind of hedge your bet a little bit and incentivize a lot of the deal into him actually playing games. And if he doesn't play games, then you won't be hit in the salary cap for some of those losses. And that's what this deal was. That's why there's so many per game roster bonuses in there. That's what they were trying to get done. And obviously when you have a lot of stipulations in the deal like that, it may take a little bit to get it agreed upon, even with an agent who you're comfortable negotiating with. So that's the reason why the whole deal was not, open and shut from the moment he got there. It took 2 days to work out. But as you see, it's a very friendly deal for the Bengals, and Lael will get all the money in it so long as he plays all the games. And, assuming that he's healthy, he should be able to do that. So that's why it looks like that, and that's why it took so long.
So it looks like basically they have about, after you factor in the accounting for, the rookie cap hits for this year, and after the draft, obviously, the practice squad payments and the workout payments that they're going to have to pay in the offseason, the Bengals are looking at about $11 million in cap space still right now. Now, for reference, in the past, the way they typically have wanted to do this, they typically like to roll over about $6 to $7 million in cap space to account for rookie contracts the next season, right? Now, I'm not saying they'll do that this year. They may not. I mean, the Bengals have done some weird things this year. They're changing up. They're competing. They've got a window open. They're going after it. So they may not stick to all of the rules they've stuck to in the past. But if they do, that leaves about $5-6 million in cap space right now for them to work with if they want to go out into the market. And they're going to have to. They're going to have to sign some more people just to fill out some of the depth issues on the roster. But what's really interesting about this is this gives them enough money to still be in the market for some pretty high-end players at positions in need. We've been talking about this cornerback situation and the fact that you've got everybody's comfortable with Chidobe Awuzie for good reason. He's good, and he played really well, played like a number 1 corner last year. Everyone's worried, however, about having Eli Apple as your number 2 outside corner. Well, sitting out there on the market right now is Stephon Gilmore, and I didn't think there was going to be any opportunity. I didn't think there is realistic at all. It doesn't check any of the boxes for the Bengals. He's over 30. He's going to get paid quite a bit on a 1-year deal. He's a rental type veteran. These are the types of players the Bengals typically don't sign unless they can get them like they did with Ogunjobi, like kind of cheaper on a prove it deal, right? Stephon Gilmore didn't need to prove anything. So if they want to go get him, you're starting to see more smoke. It's not just like hush whispers anywhere. There's actually some people talking about online. Obviously, this is nothing official. I don't have any sources. I'm just a dude, and I haven't seen it from any of the sources that I know are legit. So, but these are just people saying, the Bengals are out there kicking the tires on Stephon Gilmore. It would be a big deal for this year to compete this year, right? Because it's unlikely they're going to sign him for longer than a year. It may be a 2-year deal, backloaded, so they can manage the cap a little bit better. But essentially, if they go out and get Stephon Gilmore, and you're looking at Awuzie and Gilmore, and now you have Eli Apple as your third corner, plus you draft a guy who can learn behind all 3 of those veterans and be the outside corner of the future for the Bengals. We've talked about they'll probably draft defense first round, and unless one of those elite defensive tackles slides all the way to 31, they're probably looking at a guy like Kyer Elam out of Florida, or they're looking at Jalen Petrie out of Baylor, or they're looking at Andrew Booth may slide, maybe. He's looking like a mid first round guy right now. He may slide down. He's got about as good a chance of sliding down as like Devontae Wyatt does, the defensive the three tech out of Georgia. But if he does, that could be the pick. You could be looking at a corner that you can bring in to learn your defense and learn behind veterans in the league, and not throw, like the Bengals usually do, throw them out there and expect them to play in year one. You won't have to do that very much, which is a really good thing. So that's something to keep an eye on. They have money. They are going to spend it. They're not going to roll into the season with $10 million in the bank. It ain't going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see how they decide to spend that money. If it's on one big player like a Stephon Gilmore, or if they go out and get some, smaller deals done for some depth situations. So that being said, one thing they could do with this money is they could extend Jessie Bates. I know they just tagged him, but you can structure a contract to essentially replace a franchise tag, right? So it bought them time so that they didn't have to lock him up before the free agency period. But now we're getting, and they probably did that. I think they're comfortable with Jessie Bates playing on the franchise tag for this next season. I think they're completely fine with that. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. But it comes with a secondary added benefit that basically bought them time to get through free agency, sign the players they wanted to sign with the most amount of money that they could play with. Now they're getting toward the end of free agency. They've signed all the dudes they want to sign, minus maybe one or two. Now they're getting a better idea what their cap looks like. They could maybe take a look. And unless the two sides are way far apart on money and years, which I really doubt they are, I really hope they can work that out, because when NFL defenses are about, yes, you need the players, you need the players on the team, but you need cohesiveness and communication, and Jessie Bates is the leader of the back end of that defense. And if you lose the leader of the back end of your defense, or one of the levels of your defense, or that player regresses in any way, you can really see it on the field. Jessie Bates is in the prime of his career. He's not going to regress from a on-field play perspective for another 5-6 years at least. So that's off the table. The only way they could lose him is by not paying him. So I think they should do that, because that takes one more thing off the table. You have your defensive leader in of the secondary locked up for long term, right? Especially because they're going to need to start bringing in young guys to fill in these cornerback positions going into the future. But that's all I wanted to go over with you guys. It's as I always say, exciting time to be a Bengals fan. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, tell your friends about me. I don't know why I said subscribe so weird, but thanks for coming in and hanging out with me for a few minutes today. I've been Mike. This has been Who Daily. That's Sawbones. Peace.